गुरु गौरांग गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशुतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेरांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशुतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेरांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशुतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतश्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतश्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत शिल गोक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्याल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास गुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चाहे श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अविष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माय की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओके। जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य चरितमृत की जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गोसाई पाद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All right, so let's do the Mangalacharan and then I'll see who's joined. Ajnanaतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्त सरस्वती विदितो गौरीय गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोरसंकीर्तनाय मायावारतमिङ्गिलोदरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवानिमान् कृष्ण प्रेम सुदाब्धिगाहन सुखां प्रदत्प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्ति विनोदं श्री गौरशक्ति स्वरूपकम् भक्तिशास्त्राज्ञ सम्राजां राधारससुधानिधिम्। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते। गो श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Sorry. वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम्। Smara Gaura Gadadara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadara Charu Kathang Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunja Vidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya Kshiptashtakamaditaranga Madhye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Ghoshanam Shikshanashtakakya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Nama Matra Vishwajivanaika Sambharam Prema Dhama Devameva Nomi Gaura Sundaram प्रेमोद्भावितहर्षैर्योद्वेगदन्यार्तिमिश्रितं लपितं गोरचन्द्रस्य भाग्यवद्भिर्निषेव्यते प्रभुर्शिक्षाष्टक श्लोक जय पोरे शुने कृष्णे प्रेम भक्ति तार बारे dine dine. Whoever reads or hears the Lord Shikshashtak verses, that person's prem bhakti for Krishna increases day by day. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Let's see, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, Nitai Mukesh ji, Mayank Gupta ji, and Guru Nishta Prabhu, Hari Bol. And on YouTube and Facebook, I only see the names of those people who write comments. So I see Vidyalala Sadidi, Pranams, Gargaraj ji, Dandavat Pranam, and whoever else is there watching. And also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi. I see your comments every day. Sorry, I don't ever respond. And also Jayadev Prabhu. I also see your comments every day. So Dandavat pranams. Yeah, if anybody's watching this in the future, I always, even though I'm really bad at responding to them, I always do appreciate seeing your comments because then I know who's joining. So yeah. And I never miss any of them because it gets sent to my email. It's just not easy to respond. I can't respond to them from my email, so that's why I don't usually respond to them, but I do see them. Hare Krishna and Hare Krishna Ru Dandavat Pranam. All right, so today, right before we started the program, I thought maybe it'd be nice to just go through all the verses of Bhajana-rahasya without the commentary. We wouldn't have time for that, but I think we would have time to go through all the verses in the first section. I think it's like 30 verses or something, 30 something verses. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita section that we've been reading many times, that's over 40 verses. No, that's 40 verses exactly. And so that, yeah, I think we could fit that in. And then we'll sing the Yam Kirtans. So all the kirtans for the first time period of the day, Nishanta Bhajan. Yesterday we heard an explanation from my Gurudev elaborated on what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in his Bengali verses about well, basically all the verses that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote was explaining this chart but then well, he explained many of the parts, but then my Gurudev clarified many things and gave more details. And then Vaijanti Mala Mataji, she made this chart here. And this is the structure of Bhajana-rahasya. So, and we see how the time period, like how the day is divided. There's dawn, and then 3 morning periods, and then dusk and 3 night periods. Right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I'm guessing that means prata, right? Prata is when the sun rises. And then these 3 periods, Purvahna, Madhyan, and Aparahna. And then there's Sayang, which is evening, and then the 3 night periods, Pradosh, Ratri, Nishanta. Nishanta is, Nisha means night, Anta means end. So Nishanta means the end of night. That's like the Brahma Muhurta time. Well, these times are rough times because, when the sun rises later and, like, the sunrise time changes all throughout the year. And so, but roughly Nishanta is from 3:30 to 6 a.m. And then Prata is from 6 a.m. to 8:30. So, and this all corresponds to all the pairs of names in the Mahamantra. So Hare Krishna, the first Hare Krishna is Nishanta Bhajan. And for those who are in the practice, following their in the beginning, this signifies Shraddha, the stage of Shraddha. When you start to see the sky starts to glow, and he starts to and just before the sun rises. And so this is like Shraddha. Shraddha is the first eternal thing that we know about ourselves. Like it's the first eternal quality of ourself that starts to manifest. And so then Cheto Darpana Marjanam begins. And as we saw, each one of these time periods of the day also corresponds to a part of the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam is Prata. And then Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, that signifies the stage of Nishta, and that's Purvahna period, 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. And also, all these time periods of the day corresponds to the verses, not just the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, but also to all the verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam. And then, this is further divided about how this time period relates to someone in whom Rati has not arisen yet. That's Ajata Rati Sadhak. So a practitioner in whom the Rati is Ajata. It's not yet been born. So for them, it says, by performing Nam Sankirtan with faith, ignorance is nullified, and his mirror-like heart is cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. But for somebody who in whom Rati is already arisen, Ajata Rati Sadhak, he remembers the pastimes in which Radha and Krishna meet each other. Under the guidance of Sri Rupa Manjari and other Vrajadevis, he performs Manasi Seva to Radha Govinda in his internally conceived Gopi form. That's for those following in Madhur Ras. And then tomorrow we'll begin the next part. The next pair of names, the second Hare Krishna, which is Prata, which is 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And this signifies the stages of Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and Anartha Nivritti. This is also Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleansing the mirror of the heart. And then the second verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nijasarva Shaktis. That's that verse. And for the Ajata Rati Sadak, this part of Bhajana-rahasya, this time of the day, this stage means by continuously chanting, the Ajata Rati Sadak's anarthas are gradually removed, and he develops nishta. His intelligence becomes fixed, and he begins to develop firm faith in Krishna Nam. He cultivates as his ideal the character, service, and goal of Srila Rupa Goswami and other pure devotees. And for the sadhak in whom rati has arisen, the jata rati sadhak, this when he remembers Radha and Krishna's eternal form, pastimes, qualities, and so forth, their lila vilas manifests, as well as service to them in these pastimes. He constantly remembers Lalita and other Sakis, and under their guidance, performs service in his perfected spiritual body. So, yesterday we didn't get around to reciting the Śikṣāṣṭakam, so let's do that right now, just before I forget to go through that. Where is it? I opened up so many things. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha tavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam Purnamrita svadanam Sarvatma snapanam parang vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishamiha Janinanuraga Trinarapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Na Dhanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Va Jagarisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatar Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitang Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddho Kripaya Tava Para Pankaja Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galara Shudharaya Vadanam Gad Kadarudaya Gira Pulakarnichitang Vapu Kada Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Ashlishava Pararatang Pinashtumam Adarshanan Marma Hatang Korotuva Yatha Tathava Vidadhatulam Pato Mat Prananatastu Sa Eva Na Para. So one thing I think it's probably clear to most people, but we like the many of the different Babaji groups, they give Siddha Pranali, the method for Pranali means the method for realizing your perfection. What your perfected form. What is your moods? What is your form like? There's the Ekadasha Bhavs. What all the details. What clothes you wear. What's your service? Your particular mood. Who you're serving under. All these different things. 11 different things like that. And so for so many of the different Gaudiya lines that not in the line of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, but many other lines, they will get an imaginary form that they'll try to meditate on. And so even in their extremely immature stage, when they are still struggling with the most basic anarthas, like, wanting to eat good food, watch movies, and do whatever stuff, all the stuff that us conditioned souls do, then in that premature stage they'll try to think of their name, their form, all these different things, and that's the method, is just meditating on that form. But in the line of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is what he established for us. This is our Siddha Pranali, this Śikṣāṣṭakam. And then he shows how in the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam and all the verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam, this is the sadhan path. This is the path of sadhan, all the way until we achieve our supreme destination, when we end, all the way up to the final stage of bhav and then prem. This Śikṣāṣṭakam is our everything. This is what we hold on to. This is what brings us, takes us along. And this is our Siddha Pranali, this Śikṣāṣṭakam. And so this whole Bhajana-rahasya is showing that, how this is the process of performing bhajan. It's so deep. It's not just, a nice thing that Mahaprabhu spoke. Or no, it's everything for us. And so it's 7:26. Okay, I think, yeah, I'm gonna just go through the verses of the first chapter of Bhajana-rahasya. It says Pratham Yama Sadhan, the first Yam, Nishanta Sadhan. It's Nishanta Bhajan, Shraddha. These are the last 6 dandas of the night. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to read Srila Bhaktivinoda because we don't have enough time. So I'm not going to read the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Bhajana-rahasya. I'll show you actually the first edition of Bhajana-rahasya here. This is the very first. I have a PDF of it. It's published in, I think this is the first edition. It's published in 1902. So yeah, here's a PDF of it. Isn't that cool? It's written, it says, Srimat Kedaranath Bhakti Vinod Sankalitam. So it was compiled, Sankalitam, right? Compiled by Srimat Kedarnath Bhakti Vinod. So he's still using the name Kedarnath, even at the end there. That's interesting. Before in the books, like in the earlier books, it would say Bhakti Vinod and then Śrī Caitanya Datta. But now, but then Srila Bhaktivinoda, so first, because Bhakti Vinod was a title that was given to him by the Bhagnapada Goswamis, and I forgot which year. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ended up making that title just his name. And so you'll see it with the later books, then he starts, and he doesn't just write Bhakti Vinod Śrī Caitanya Datta, but now he's writing Śrī Caitanya Bhakti Vinod. And then, so Bhajana-rahasya, the original Bhajana-rahasya, as you can see here, is Sanskrit. And then underneath the Sanskrit, one second, let me just enable 2-page scrolling. Okay. Underneath the Sanskrit, then he would give a Bengali verse, which is pretty much a translation of the Sanskrit rendering, but many times he would add in things in the Bengali that are not in the Sanskrit. And so that's what Bhajana-rahasya mostly is. It's just he'd get a verse and then render it into Bengali poetry. Actually, he added he added a lot that wasn't in the Sanskrit verse quite often. And that's pretty much Bhajana-rahasya. And then each chapter ends with this verse from Govinda Lilamrita of what pastime Radha and Krishna were performing throughout that time period, and then the song based on that pastime. And that's the first chapter. Yeah. And as we've read before, this Bhajana-rahasya was meant to accompany Shri Harinam Chintamani. Look here, it says, Shri Bhajana-rahasya, Shri Harinam Chintamanir Antargat. So Bhajana-rahasya is really like an extension of Harinam Chintamani. And originally, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave it the name Praman Mala, which means it's like a garland of scriptural proof or evidence, or I don't know how you translate Praman there, but and so Harinam Chintamani was written just in simple Bengali that anybody could understand, but then to substantiate every word of his Bengali Harinam Chintamani verses, he made the Praman Mala, which he ended up just giving a different title, Bhajana-rahasya. And so I guess he started making more its own book rather than just a supplementary thing. But still here he writes Shishi Harinam Chintamanir Antargat. All right. So where are we? Sorry, I lost my spot. Okay. So yeah, I'm not going to read the Bengali as I said. We'll just read the Sanskrit. Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar. And then instead of Yajanti hi Sumedasaha, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives Bhajami Kalipavanam. So we know this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur changes the last line. I worship the purifier of the age of Kali. So I worship Sri Gaurangadev, who delivers the living entities of Kali Yuga through the congregational chanting of the holy names, Nam Sankirtan Yagya. He describes the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna. He performs kirtan of the two syllables, Kri and Shna. His complexion is fair. He is surrounded by his angas, his associates, meaning Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu, his upangas, his servitors, meaning Srivas Pandit and other pure devotees, and parshads, his confidential companions like Sri Sarup Damodar, Sri Rai Ramananda, Sri Gadadhar Pandit, and the six Goswamis. And he is endowed with his weapon, with his astra of Harinam, which destroys ignorance. And then he gives the similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, which is exactly the same, except the last line says, Yajanti hi sumedasa. Those who are intelligent worship him by means of Sankirtan. Okay, so then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the Bengali. I can't help myself. I just have let's recite the Bengali verse. Kali jiva uddharite para tattva hari navadvipe ailago rupa avishkari yuga dharma krishna nam smarana kirtan sangopange vitarilo diya premadhan jiver sunitya dharma nam sankirtan anya sab dharma nam siddhir karan. Yeah, so this is different than the verse. One second, I just want to look up the word Abhishkar. Oops. Ah, sorry. Abhi- Discovery. So Abhishkar is discovery, exploration, invention. I don't know. It has a different meaning here. Anyways, so Kali Jiva Udarite Paratatvahari. So the absolute truth, Shri Hari, in order to deliver the jivas of Kali Yuga, in Navadvip, he came. I don't know how to translate Avishkari here, but manifesting a golden form. The Yuga Dharma, Krishna Nam Smaran Kirtan. The Yuga Dharma is remembering and chanting Krishna's name. And along with his accompanied by his upangas, are his confident his different associates. And we saw how these associates are broken down. He distributed the wealth of prem, the treasure of prem. So the jiva's eternal dharma is Nam Sankirtan, Anya Shab Dharma Nam Siddhir Karan. And all the dharmas, all other religious duties are perfected through this Nam Kirtan. It's caused by this Nam Kirtan. Maybe that wasn't a right translation. All other dharmas are simply secondary means to attain perfection in chanting. Okay, wait, sorry. Anya Shab Dharma Nam Siddhir Karan. Okay, I got it. So all other dharmas are only the only purpose of them is to uh, help us in our chanting the name. So everything that we do in bhakti, every single thing that the only purpose of it is to help our chanting. Any service that you do, any activity in bhakti, anything that you do, the only reason you should be doing it is so that it will help our chanting. That's the purpose of everything. Anya Shab Dharma Nam Siddhir Karan. Okay. Okay, now let's go text 2. Okay. So now the second verse of Bhajana-rahasya, he goes through this verse of the Shashi Shunvashtakam by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. It's verse 5 of that. Nijatve Goriya Jagati Parigrihya Prabhuriman Hare Krishne Tevam Kanana Vidhina Kirtayatabho Iti Prayang Shiksham Charana Madhupebhya Paridishan Shachi Shuno Kimme Nayana Saraning Yasyati Padam. So the translation is, when will Shachi Nandan Shri Gaur Hari appear on the path of my eyes? He accepted as his own the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in this world, who are like bees at his lotus feet. And he instructed them to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, counting a fixed number of rounds. Hey, where are the Bengali verses of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Missing. That's strange. I just want to see in the original Bhajana-rahasya. Are they there? Oh, okay. So those Bengali verses that we read actually come after this verse. Interesting. Hmm. All right. Now, text 3 of Bhajana-rahasya. Yadabhyar Yadabhyarcha haring bhaktya kritikratu shatarapi phalang prapnotya vikalang kalo govinda kirtanat. So the Vishnu Rahasya states, whatever fruit can be obtained in Satya Yuga by devoutly performing austerities and so forth for hundreds of years, that can be obtained in the age of Kali simply by chanting the names of Sri Govinda. Wow, save a lot of time there. Satyayuge Shata Shata Jage Haryachan Kalite Govinda Name She Phala Arjan. Okay, now text 4. The Brihad Vishnu Puran states that other kinds of atonement, prayashchita, are not necessary for one who chants the holy name. Namnosya yavati shakti papa nirharane hare tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam pataki jana. Shri Hari's name possesses such potency to destroy sins that it can counteract more sins than even the most sinful person is able to commit. Wow. Okay. The most sinful person can't even like Harinam beats the person who's, destroys more sins than the person can even commit. That's the potency of Hari's name. The most sinful person. Kono prayashchitta nahe namer saman ataev karma tyag kore buddhiman. Okay, now verse 5, Bhajan-rahasya. The superiority of kirtan is described in Vaishnav Chintamani, quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas 11:236, and also Bhakti Sandarbha Anuched 273. Agachit smaranam Vishnur bhavaya sena sadhyate oshta spandana matrena kirtanang tu tato varam. Sins are destroyed with great effort by remembering Sri Vishnu, but by chanting his name, they are very easily destroyed. Kirtan is performed simply by using the lips to vibrate the names of the Supreme Lord and is far superior to smaran. It's far superior to remembrance. Tapasyaya dhyana yoga kashta sadhya hoy, oshter spandana matre kirtana ashray, Oshter spandana bhave namer smaran, smaran kirtane sarva siddhi sanghatan, archan apeka namer smarana kirtan, atish atishrishta boli shastre korilo stapan. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote that in Bengali, and the translation is: austerities, meditation, yoga, and other practices are very difficult to perform in Kali Yuga, but kirtan is easy. One need only vibrate one's lips. The holy name chanted without moving the lips is called Nam Smaran. The living entity can attain all perfection by chanting and remembering the holy name. The scriptures have therefore concluded that chanting and remembering the holy name are superior to archan. Okay, now text 6. Hey, what happened? Text 6. Sorry. Okay, now the Hari Bhakti Vilas 11:237 states, and we read this yesterday. Yena janma shatai purvam vasudeva samarshita tanmuke harinamani sada tishtanti bharata. O best of the dynasty of Bharat, the holy name of Sri Hari is eternally present only on the lips of one who has perfectly worshipped Vasudeva for hundreds of births. And then we read this all yesterday. Remember that long, it was a breakdown of this chart pretty much. And so we read the long commentary of my Gurudev on this. That was pretty much the whole program yesterday. Now we come to text 7. So then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:4 verses 15 to 16 states, Adau Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya Tato Narta Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Atha Shaktis Tato Bhavas Tata Prema Bhudanchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradhur Bhave Bhavit Krama. I recited this verse for Gurudev when I was in Gurukul. And then he asked me questions and I freaked out. He like tried to test me on this verse, like asking me further questions about this verse. I forgot what the questions he asked me were. Anyways, that's a different topic. I think he was asking me about Mathuresh Krishna. No, anyways, whatever. I'm going off topic. Okay, so this verse describes the gradual development of the sadhak's devotion. Sukriti that gives rise to bhakti generates transcendental faith, paramarthik shraddha. Faith in the words of the scriptures and a desire to hear Harikatha are the symptoms of this shraddha. Upon its appearance, one gets the opportunity to associate with saintly persons, sadhu sangha. And then devotional activity, bhajana kriya, begins. The clearance of all obstructions, anartha nivritti, is also initiated at this time. And thereafter, firm faith, nishta, arises in bhajan. So these three things happen simultaneously: sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and anartha nivritti. It's not like, okay, now I've got sadhu sangha, now I'm on the next stage, bhajana kriya, now I'm on the next stage, anartha nivritti. But no, these three things happen simultaneously. You can only perform bhajan in sadhu sangha, and when you're performing bhajan, then your anarthas are being removed. So it's three things simultaneously: sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti. And thereafter, firm faith, nishta, arises in bhajan. This is followed by taste, by ruchi, and then by attachment, asakti. And then attachment, asakti, arises for both bhajan and the object of bhajan. So at the stage of ruchi, there's taste in your spiritual practice. It's juicy. You don't want to do anything else. It's like you're relishing the practice of bhajan. But then at the stage of asakti, you're not just focused on your bhajan, but you're focused directly on the object of the bhajan. It's not just about the practice now. And then when this stage of asakti ripens, it is transformed into the state of pure transcendental sentiment, bhav. And thereafter, pure love, prem, arises. This is how prem gradually manifests in the heart of the sadhak. I really should skip these Bengali verses, but it's too difficult for me. Bhakti mula sukriti hoite. Bhakti mula sukriti hoite shaddodoy. Shraddha hoile shuddha sadhu sanga anayase hoy. Sadhu sanga phale hoy bhajaner shiksha. Bhajan shikshar sange na mantra diksha. Bhajite bhajite hoy anarther khoy. Anartha karbita hoile nishtar udoy. निष्ठ नामे जत होय अनर्थ विनाश नामे तत रुचि क्रमे होइबे प्रकाश रुचि युक्त नामे ते अनर्थ जत जाय तथय तथोय आसक्ति नामे भक्त जन पाय नामासक्ति क्रमे सर्व अनर्थ दूर होय तबे भावोदय होय এই তো নিশ্চয় इतिमध्ये असत्संगे प्रतिष्ठा जन्मिया कुटिनाटी द्वारे दे निम्ने फैलाइया अति सावधाने बाय असत्संग त्याजो निरंतर परानंदे हरि नाम भजो. I'll just translate the last verse here. It says, Ati savadhane bhai, oh brother, very carefully, extremely carefully, ati savadhane, extremely carefully, oh brother, asat sanga tyajo. Give up all types of bad association. That means physically and mentally. So that also refers, I'm talking to myself, watching stupid YouTube videos. That's also a satsanga tyaja. Okay, nirantar paranande harinama bhaja. Then nirantar means continuously, with ceaselessly, with in supreme bliss, paranande, harinam bhajo. Worship the holy name. Now, text 8. See, there should be an English translation for these. Anyways, in the Katyayana Samhita, quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-111, states, Varang huta vahajvala panjarantar vyavastiti nashori chinta vimukha jana sangvasa vaishasam. Whether, oops, I just lost my spot. Whether I am burned by fire or remain encaged forever, I will never, ever desire the association of those who are averse to Krishna. Wow, that's a heavy verse. Whether I'm burned by fire or remain encaged forever, I will never, ever desire the association of those who are averse to Krishna. The Vishnu-rahasya, quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-112, states, Alinganam varam manye vyala vyaghra jalokasam nasanga shalya yuktanam nana devaikasevinam. It is better to live with or embrace a snake, a tiger, or an alligator than to associate with those whose hearts are filled with varieties of material desires and who worship various demigods. Agnite puri ba panjarete baddha hoy tabo Krishna bahirmukha shanga nahi loy. Varam sarpa vyaghra kumbirer alingan anya sevi shanga nahi kori kadachan. So these two verses are together in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. First one's from the Katyayana Samhita, and the second one is from Vishnu-rahasya. Okay. Now where are we on? Text 10. And then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2-1-103 states that Namabhas destroys all sin and liberates one from material existence. Tam nirvyajam bhaja gunanidhim pavanam pavananam Shraddharajan matir atitaram uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karana kuhare hantayan nama bhanor abhasopi kshapayati mahapataka dvantadharam. So this is written by Srila Rupa Goswami, this verse. What does it mean? It says, O reservoir of all good qualities, just faithfully perform bhajan of Sri Krishna without duplicity. He is the supreme savior among all saviors, and the most exalted of those worshipped with poetic hymns. When even a slight appearance of his name, which is like the sun, arises in the cave of one's heart, It destroys the darkness of great sins that are present there. Parama Pavana Krishna Tahar Charan Nishkapat Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan Jar Nama Surya Bhasa Antare Praveshi Dhangsa Kore Mahapap Andhakara Rashi E Shikshak E Shikṣāṣṭake Kohe Krishna Lila Kram Ihate Bhajana Krame Lilar Udgam Pratama Shloka Bhaja Kichudin द्वितीय श्लोके ते तबे हो तो प्रवीण चारि श्लोके क्रमशः भजन पक्व करो पंचम श्लोके ते निज सिद्ध देह भरो अहि श्लोके सिद्ध देहे राधा पादाश्रय आरंभ करिया क्रमे उन्नति उदय छय श्लोक भजिते अनर्थ दूरे गेल तबे जानो सिद्ध देहे अधिकार होइल अधिकार ना लभिया सिद्ध देह भावे विपर्यार बुद्धि जन्मे शक्तिर अभावे सावधाने क्रम धरो यदि सिद्धि चाओ साधुर चरित्र देखी शुद्ध भक्ति पाओ सिद्ध देह पे क्रमे भजन करिले अष्टकाल सेवा सुख अनायासे मिले शिक्षाष्टक चिंत करो स्मरण कीर्तन क्रमे अष्टकाल सेवा हबे उद्दीपन सकल अनर्थ जावे पावे प्रेम धन चतुर्वर्ग फलगु प्राय Habe Adarshan. Okay, we all have to read this. Okay, this is our reading for today. It's kind of funny how I figure out the program right while I'm in the middle of it. Okay, so this is my Gurudev's translation of these verses, and my Gurudev also expands a little bit in his translation. So this is a Bhajana-rahasya vritti. When the holy name is chanted without any desire other than for bhakti, when it is not covered by jnana, karma, and so forth, when it is chanted in a favorable mood with a sense of one's relationship with Śrī Krishna, it is called the pure name or Shuddhanam. If it is not Shuddhanam, it is called Nam Abhas, a semblance of the holy name. When one's chanting of the holy name is covered with ignorance, or in other words, when it has the defects of the tendency to commit mistakes, Brahm, and the tendency to be illusioned, Pramad, at that time it is called Nam Abhas. Nam Abhas also refers to the chanting of the name when one is absorbed in matters unrelated to Śrī Krishna. And when the holy name is chanted impurely, with desires for liberation and enjoyment due to the influence of impersonalism, Mayavad, and so on, it is called Nam Aparad. The semblance of Śrī Krishna's name is so powerful that it is capable of putting an end to the darkness of the greatest of sins. Nam Abhas enters the ears of the living entity, rises in his cave-like heart, and liberates him. Moreover, if one who chants Nam Abhas gives up bad association and constantly remains in the association of pure devotees, he will very quickly attain pure bhakti and the topmost goal of life, Krishna Prem. So Nam Abhas has many different stages. You can be chanting Nam Abhas, and we were reading in Harinam Chintamani that you can chant Nam Abhas for hundreds of lifetimes. So like Nam Abhas isn't desirable. It's not like we want to chant Nam Abhas. But if you chant Nam Abhas and you're trying and you're in Sadhu Sangha, then very quickly that Nam Abhas will become more and more pure until you finally reach Shuddhanam. But also, yeah. So Nandan, so Nam Abhas can either take you to chanting Shuddhanam, or it could just stay stagnant for hundreds of lifetimes. So that's why we have to be in the association of pure devotees, and then our Nam Abhas will gradually turn into Shuddhanam. Nandanandan Śrī Krishna is the ultimate limit of Bhagavata, the topmost form or expression of Godhead. He is all-powerful and supremely merciful. Even a semblance of his name burns the most terrible sins to ashes and makes the heart pure and pleasant. It is therefore necessary to perform one's bhajan sincerely and faithfully. The process of gradually developing one's Krishna bhajan is described in Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. Shri Krishna's pastimes will progressively manifest in the heart of the sadhak who is following this process. First, one should practice according to the rules of bhajan mentioned in the first verse. Thereafter, by faithfully following the second, third, and fourth verses, one's bhajan will gradually become mature. When that is achieved, one should perform bhajan according to the sentiments contained in the fifth verse. And one should contemplate one's perfect spiritual body, one's siddha deha, which develops gradually by taking exclusive shelter of Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. By continuously performing bhajan in this way, all anarthas will be removed, and one will receive the eligibility to attain one's siddha deha. As long as anarthas are present, one can never attain one's siddha deha. The intelligence of those who try to contemplate their siddha deha without sufficient qualification becomes spoiled due to their lack of strength, and their entire bhajan is ruined. This is called sahajya bhav, and it is thoroughly opposed to pure devotion. Yeah, that's what we're talking about at the beginning. What is our Siddha Pranali is not meditating on some imaginary form, but it is Shikshashtakam. If there's an honest desire to attain perfection, one should carefully adopt the gradual process of bhajan as mentioned previously and follow the path of Sri Rupa, Sri Raghunath, and other great personalities, other Mahajans who are expert in bhajan. By performing bhajan in this way and having obtained one's siddha deha, one's perfected spiritual form, then one easily attains the happiness of Ashtakaliya Seva. That's service in Sri Radha Krishna's eternal pastimes during the 8 periods of the day. Therefore, contemplating the sentiments of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka through remembrance, through smaran, and chanting through kirtan, one will gradually stimulate Ashtakaliya Seva. How do you stimulate Ashtakaliya Seva, the direct service to Radha and Krishna throughout the 8 time periods of the day? Through Śikṣāṣṭaka, through smaran and kirtan of Śikṣāṣṭaka. All anarthas will be removed by this process, and one will easily be able to attain prema dharma. At that time, the 4 ultimate goals of human life, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, that's dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, will appear very insignificant. What time is it? 7:57. Okay, and so then we come to this, then text 11 of the first chapter of Bhajana-rahasya is the first verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka. So this is all like a introduction to Chaito Darpana Marjanam, all the previous verses. The first verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka describes the sequence of bhajan. First, the mirror-like heart is cleansed by the chanting of the holy name. So it's kind of like the first verse is it's the sutra for the rest of the Śikṣāṣṭaka. It kind of seems like that, right? It has all the stages. It has Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana, Kriya, Anartha, and Vritti. And then it has Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and Prem. That's what this first verse is. And then the later verses of Śikṣāṣṭakam are each also a different stage of development in our sadhana. So, yeah, so we will end here. It's 7:58. Maybe we can just end by quickly singing this song from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, where is it? It'll take 2 minutes to sing if we sing it all together. Here. Okay. I'm not going to read the translation. We'll just sing the Bengali and that will end our program like that. 1 second. Let me turn off noise suppression. Okay. Pita Pita Varana Kali Pavana Gora Gawai Aichana Bhava Vibhora Chita Darpana Pari Marjana Kari Krishna Kirtana Jai Chitta Vihari Hela Bhava Dava Nirvapana Vritti Krishna Kirtana Jai Klesha Nrivriti Shreya Kumuda Vidu Jyotsna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jai Bhakti Vilasa Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa Krishna Kirtana Jai Siddha Swarupa Ananda Payonidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jai Lavana Murti Pade Pade Piyusha Swada Pradata Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Vidata Bhakat Bhakti Vinoda Swapna Snapana Vidana Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Nidana Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. So tomorrow we will I think what I'll do, we got halfway through the first chapter of Bhajana-rahasya. So I think tomorrow we'll read just the translations of everything that we read today, not the Bengali and Sanskrit, and I won't. And so then we get the flow of Bhajana-rahasya, and then we'll read the second half. And it will end with that Lila section from Govinda Lila Mrita and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Lila Kirtan. And that's how we'll end this chapter. I keep on extending it another day. We've now been going over the first verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka for, well, tomorrow will be 21 days. I think the next verses will be quicker though. So, all right. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhajana-rahasya Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Raghunath Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, all the commentaries of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka by our acharyas Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyaya Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Satyavatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyaye Vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam. So in this program, I'm just doing a very, the most brief overview possible of Bhajana-rahasya. But eventually it'd be nice to go through Bhajana-rahasya thoroughly and read all the commentaries, really try to understand the Bengali. I was kind of just skipping over I would read the Bengali, but then just kind of skip over it. Like I wouldn't really explain it because I need to look at it first beforehand and really understand it myself before I can explain it. And so you saw I tried and I failed. So anyways, but at some point, I'm not sure when, but it'd be really nice to go, nicely, thoroughly through Bhajana-rahasya. But it's also good to get a bird's eye view, I think, just so that you understand where you are. You have like a general overview, and then you can go. I don't know. I find that helpful always to get a broad overview first, and then go into it slowly and deeply. All right. Dandavat pranams. Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Chatamai Mataji, Nitai Mukesh ji, Guru Nishta Prabhu, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Devendra Agarwal, Hare Krishna, Devendra Prabhu, and
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. And also on YouTube and Facebook, I see Vidya Lalasa Didi, Gargarajji, Krishna Mai Didi, Braj Lovers, Haribol Braj Lovers, and then Vidya Lalasa Didi saying, I really appreciate you going through so much detail, Prabhu. This verse is so important and the base for everything in our bhakti. Yeah, that's kind of why I was just to be really frank and honest, my sadhana is really nothing. And I haven't been reciting Śikṣāṣṭakam every day, even though it's just like the most essential thing as it's becoming more and more clear to me. Like this is our process. This is the method of attaining perfection, of performing bhajan is Śikṣāṣṭakam. It's like the most important thing, like Śikṣāṣṭakam and Harinam. And so, and I haven't been doing it. And so, like when I come online and there's a bunch of devotees there, then I'm like forced to keep some kind of practice going. And so I'm really just doing it for myself. And that's why I'm not worrying about how much time we spend on each verse, because the longer we do it, the better. Maybe it will become a habit and maybe I'll be able to maintain it after we finish this program. So I don't really care if it takes all year to go through this, but at least I'll be able to recite Śikṣāṣṭakam every day. These programs are really selfish. I'm just kind of trying to do it for myself, and you're all holding me accountable. So it's and I guess people like it because people keep on showing up, so it's a win-win. So all right. Thank you so much for joining. Wait, let me just see the comments really quick here on Zoom. Chatamai Mataji says, we need to be so careful about association. Our sadhan's success depends on this. Yes, very important points. That's the all-important point. Have you seen the Madhuri Kadambini chart that Vaijanti Mala Mataji made? I also helped with that a bit, but she was the main person who made that chart. And in that chart, there's the stem of the Bhakti Lata, and it goes through all the different stages, but the stem of the Bhakti Lata is Sadhu Sangha. And so it's like at every stage, from the very beginning, and even at perfection, Sadhu Sangha is the all-important thing. We can't make any progress without Sadhu Sangha, because we're either associating with sadhus or we're associating with asadhus. We're associating with materialistic persons, our material thoughts, our minds are absorbed in the temporary mundane stuff. So it's either in spiritual stuff or it's mundane stuff. There's no in between. There's no it's pretty black and white, actually. It's like you're either absorbed in good things or you're absorbed in bad things. Sadhu Sangha is extremely important. Yes, Chatamai Mataji says, strengthen the stem. Yes. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining and look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end today's session? Looks like Sarveshwari Mataji's unmuting herself.
Prabhu,
Yes.
are you in Radhakund?
No, now I'm in Vrindavan.
In Vrindavan.
What happened, I was on my way. Okay, so I was in Radhakund. I stayed there for a week just to try it out, to see how I liked it there and to see if it felt right, like I should be there. And I'm kind of feeling 80% like I should be there. But I don't know, it might change when I go back to Navadvip. I might be like, no, I don't want to leave Navadvip. So we'll see. But I went to visit Amal Krishna Prabhu, who he's like the head of the Hindi publications, and also he's very involved with the English publications, and I kind of serve under him and Vaijanti Mala Mataji. And so I just went late at night when I was on my way to Mathura. Just I wanted to see him. I couldn't come to Braj and not see him. So, and I arrived at the Mat pretty late, and then at like 10:30 p.m., he's like, just cancel your ticket to Navadvip. And and he's like, just stay a couple days and then you can go after a couple days back to Navadvip. Stay in Vrindavan for a couple days. And so I canceled my ticket and now I'm kind of regretting it because I'm having a difficult time getting a ticket back to Navadvip. I'm going to try again this morning, but yeah, trains are very booked. So I have no idea how long I'm going to be here, but yeah, I'm here in Vrindavan. All right. All right. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Okay, wait. Vidyalala Didi just wrote another comment. She says, at the beginning of my journey in bhakti, I was wondering why Mahaprabhu left only the Śikṣāṣṭakam and nothing else, but gradually starting to realize that this is everything and all comprehensive. Yeah. And that's our process. Nothing is ever just really, everything is hidden. In Braj, everything is hidden. Everybody's talking has everything everybody says to each other has like double meanings, and only some people can understand what the person's really saying, but they say everything's very cryptic, and nothing's just, everything in our process is very deep and cryptic. And so yeah, when you just read the translation of Śikṣāṣṭakam, it's like, oh, that looks like a nice prayer, but we don't realize how absolutely everything is contained within Śikṣāṣṭakam. Every single little thing that we need in our spiritual journey, and it's something that just continuously expands forever. There's never a point where you've understood Śikṣāṣṭakam. Even once you've reached perfection, and you're serving Radha and Krishna in your spiritual form, even then Śikṣāṣṭakam will continue to expand and expand. There's no ends to it. And it's everything for us in the very beginning stage and everything for us in perfection. Very important. I mean, most important, Śikṣāṣṭakam. All right.